configuring CM as a managed element. So when we configure CM as a managed element, you're going to see that System Manager uploads all the tables from CM. And because of that, now you're able to administer CM from System Manager. Something to be aware is that, well, before release 6.1, everything you did in System Manager for that CM was immediately updated in CM. However, everything you did on CM directly was not immediately replicated to System Manager. Okay? Now, the next slide says that starting with release 6.2, changes made in CM directly will be reflected in System Manager almost immediately. Honestly, it doesn't say immediately, it says almost immediately. And also, it doesn't say that that's not the default behavior. The default behavior is to do it every 1 hour. You could change that behavior, yes, but you need to change it, you know? And also, there is a feature, a new feature that allows you to deal with that behavior so that changes made in CM will be reflected in System Manager almost immediately. Okay, so the default still, no matter if you're 6.2 or 6.3 or 7, the default behavior is not the one that you see here. You still need to do some stuff for it to actually work like that. Okay, and I'm going to talk a few minutes about that. CM data synchronization. So as soon as you save CM as a managed element, an initial synchronization happens, which means that System Manager goes to CM with some credentials that you're going to provide, login and a password, and then goes to CM and uploads from CM all of the tables. That'll take some time, depending on how much information you have on that CM. Here in the lab, it's probably going to take us just 5 minutes. If you want to see the status of that upload, you can always go to synchronization, communication system, and you're going to see the CM synchronizing with System Manager. At this point in the screenshot, it completed, and it's actually showing you the status of an incremental synchronization. So the way this works is, at the very beginning, there is an initial synchronization where all of the tables from CM go to System Manager.
Okay.
From now on, CM runs an incremental synchronization by default every 1 hour, which means that System Manager goes to CM every 1 hour and checks what the things that were modified within that last hour, and only upload those tables that were modified. That would be an incremental synchronization.
Is there a reason the processing power on the session manager as to why the default is every hour and not like immediate?
Yeah, because I mean the thing is that the idea at the beginning is that Avaya you don't want to be polling that CMs very often.
Okay.
You know, that's pretty much it. And Avaya thought that an hour was okay because the thing is that they expect you somehow to be managing CM from System Manager.
Right.
So if you're doing it from System Manager, you don't even care about that 1 hour.
And it's a good way for them to get you away from ASA.
Yeah, you could say it like that. I mean, customers don't say it like that. They're like, no,
right.
They still want to administer CM directly.
Right.
Yeah, so that's an incremental synchronization, the one that happens every 1 hour. How does CM do it? How does System Manager do it? System Manager goes to CM and runs a list history command. And it checks in the list history what were the things done within the last hour, and then it only grabbed the tables associated to that stuff. Avaya realized in release 7, I think it was, actually no, in release 6.3, there was a problem that Avaya found where, for those customers that were doing a lot of changes in CM directly, there is just so much information the list history command can hold before it rolls out.
Right.
So for those customers, who were doing tons of things, when System Manager went and ran list history, it was missing entries there. So not all of the stuff done in CM was synchronized with System Manager. In release 7, there is a new feature where system is able to see that the list history command, that the list history logs rolled over, and then if that's the case, it runs an initial synchronization instead of an incremental synchronization. That's how Avaya approached that problem. You can force an immediate synchronization. So let's say you don't want to wait for an hour, so you can always go here to this menu, select your CM, and click on force incremental synchronization, or you could force an initial synchronization also at any time. Once CM and system are synchronized, you could administer CM from this menu, Communication Manager, and then it's just a matter of getting familiar with where things are, you know. Like for example, if you want to modify endpoints, you would go to Endpoints, Manage Endpoints, and you would select your CM. You remember you could have up to 500 CMs being managed by the same system manager, so you would select your CM, click on Show List, see your endpoints, modify endpoints like that. There is an option here that I'll show you in a few minutes, the element cut through, that allows you to go directly to CM in case you don't want to configure CM using these tables. You can go to CM using the element cut through option and run commands the way you're probably used to. Okay, so how you add CM as a managed element? Easy. You go to the inventory, and here's the lab. You click on new type. The new type of a managed element is going to be CM, and then you specify the IP address of your CM, login and password. We could use training 1 because that's a super user that right now we have in CM, and that's it. Then you commit, and as soon as you commit, if you go to communication system, you're gonna see CM synchronizing with system manager. Let's do it. Page 69. Okay.
You know what, I just realized we can't do the same thing at the same time.
So where'd you go?
So, if you go, maybe I'm gonna show you.
Services.
Yeah, or through services, you go to inventory and manage elements.
Okay.
Then you do new for add a new element. And then you select the type of element. I select the communication manager. That committed opens this window up. So you give the name to the CM, and then put in the IP address that goes for that. So that would be our lab, which would be 10.
If you hit
Or-
the refresh or change, and it'll be
And
something else.
for login, we can put in training.
Service must be on.
Password training 1. Password.
Why do you call it CM7?
That's what it was here.
Oh,
Or we can call it anything.
yeah.
Let's call it
CM Lab 1.
Isn't there a limitation, don't I recall, of how many logons there can be to a system manager at a time?
Yeah, 50 logins at the same time. You
Is
could
that-
have up to 250
That's it.
administrators, but only 50 of them can be logged in at the same time.
Pretty neat, thanks.
Inventory synchronization. So there it is.
in here.
Inventory synchronization communication system.
Mhm.
And synchronization across.
You're
That's
syncing off
it.
somebody else's.
The in progress.
So you want to select initialize?
It's a synchronization.
Where at? Oh, okay.
And that guy. And this-
Initialization of.
Good catch.
So that's There it is.
Go to
Do
status.
now. It has, oh, please avoid, it's, so by adding it, it automatically tries to initialize. But it looks like you have the option to later on initialize it manually. Let's look at status of mine. Oh,
Yeah,
it was
you
added
have the option
successfully.
later, if it failed, the synchronization fails, or if you wanna initialize it again, you have the option, you know, to select it and run it again.
Yeah.
In release 7, Avaya created some logs. If it fails, it tells you why it failed. You will see a message there saying, hey, it failed because maybe you used the wrong credentials to go to CM, or maybe CM is not reachable, not pingable, you know? It'll tell you. In release 6.3, you had no idea. I mean, it failed, and you were like, okay. But now, if it fails, it'll tell you why.
In System Manager 6.3?
In
It didn't
System
tell
R
you?
6.3, yeah.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that if you go to inventory synchronization, let's see communication system. Right now I'm in lab 3 and I see it synchronizing. If it shows here failed, you will see here something where you can click, you know, like, and it tell you why it failed. That's something new in 7. It didn't tell you before why it failed. Now, if I click in this hyperlink,
Tells you everything that it added.
it'll show you all
Or
the
that
stuff
sync.
that was already synced.
Right.
Cool.
That's what it I just did that.
So right now it's synchronizing class of services. How many class of services we have in CM?
A lot.
Certification, exam,
That's
question.
by group, so it's deep.
So so if you only have one tenant, that would be 16. But if you have multiple tenants, you know, then I don't remember how many tenants I think you can have. I think like 100. I don't know. 16 if you don't have tenant partitioning, and if you have tenant partitioning, I think that would be 16 times 100.
That's what is it finished or is it still doing it? Oh, it's still doing it. It takes a while.
But yeah, you do get those questions, you know, in the certification. I hate those questions. It's like, I don't care.
Who cares?
I don't really care about that.
It's not. It's irrelevant
Yeah.
to what I'm trying to do.
Right? I mean,
Good
I
at-
think so.
Yeah.
Like how many cores you could have? Like, I don't know.
How many? Whatever they need.
And there is no indication of how progress is going.
Yes. If you
Yeah.
click in this hyperlink,
Synchronizing, click on that.
Yeah.
tell you all of the things that have been synchronized.
Then you can click over to schedule.
Right. I guess one of the reasons why it's been,
You go to schedule
it
it.
seems like it's stuck, but it's
Yeah,
not. It's
yeah.
just because the last thing, well, that finished it. The 702 instances. Is that show that status summary in order of what it completed from top
Yes.
down?
Yes.
Okay.
And you shouldn't, it says you shouldn't be making changes in CM, but it's not that you can't, it's just that obviously you won't have the latest information.
Right. It'll be like when you do a blowback, don't make any changes.
Right.
You got to
So-
freeze as to what the snapshot, you know.
I don't think I'd worry, I don't think I'd even consider it, you're still gonna do your job.
Yeah. Because you'll get it in the next sync.
It's like watching paint dry. It's as slow as it seems.
Cool.
Did it sync for you?
Did it sync? Or it's sinking? Let me see.
It's thinking or sinking? Or sinking like the Titanic?
Or sinking. Let's see. Lab
Completed.
1.
Nice.
Yours is completed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Turbo button.
So let me show you.
Nitrous
Before
oxide
we have a
action.
break, let me show you. Let me use this one as a demonstration. In the one in lab 2, you have to wait to synchronization communication system. You see it's completed. And it says that the last synchronization that happened was an initial synchronization. I could force from here another initial synchronization for that CM, or I could force incremental synchronizations. Okay?
Right. I saw that.
Now, I want to show you, and even Wayne found it, if you go to the scheduler and you go to pending jobs, check this. If you go to pending jobs, you're gonna see that system manager created a job, created this job, CM synchronization incremental, right? And it's set to run hourly. You see? So that's the default. You could modify this if you want to run instead of hourly, maybe every minute or every 10 minutes. But it's not the best approach because then you're gonna have system manager polling that CM, you know, and querying that CM every 10 minutes or 1 minute. Like, do you have something? Do you have something? Do you have
So
something?
what if it takes more than the 10-minute cycle to actually complete?
Time-wise, what's the difference between incremental versus initial? Is it significantly different?
Yeah.
Depends on how much
It
action.
depends on how much data you have in your
I didn't know
CM.
if it took as long for it to see if there was a change as it would for it to save a change. It still has to look at everything.
It still has to search through to look
It
at
has
the
to
difference.
upload all of those tables, yeah. And it could be, it could take a little bit longer if that table is larger. Yeah, but it's,
So it doesn't sound like it'd be that much less time, it still has to do every one.
Yes, yeah.
it still has to do everyone, but remember that the table could have more bytes, let's say.
Enough of the speculation.
This is taking a long time. Oh, something went
Now.
through. Let's see. Hey, synchronizing tenant.
Well, it's completed.
But stay here with me, I want to show you something. So you could modify this, right, if you don't want to have it hourly, but Avaya in 6.03 created a new feature called Enable Notifications. So if you go to your element, manage elements, and let me see the one here for Wayne's World. That's his CM, remember? There is this new feature called Enable Notifications. It's not enabled right now, you see? It's not enabled right now. What the feature allows you to do is that every time you change something in CM directly, CM sends a notification to System Manager so that System Manager is able to run an incremental synchronization. So instead of having System Manager polling CM every time, like, hey, there's something new, there's something new, what they're doing is they let CM tell System Manager that there's something new, so that System Manager runs an incremental synchronization.
Right.
The notification is not a zip notification, it's actually an HTTPS. And the fact that it's secure makes you interchange certificates between session manager and CM. It's not hard, but my point is that it's not just about putting a check mark here and that's it, but you need to do some things related to certificates. If you go to the help and you let's search for the feature, enable notifications. Overview. They'll give you an overview of how the feature works. And what I like about this is that it also tells you how to enable it and how to configure the communication between CM and System Manager, either as a one-way TLS or two-way TLS. Remember that the reason you have to do this is because it's an HTTPS message or request that is being sent to System Manager from CM. So it gives you here the steps, like download the certificate from System Manager, then that's going to be a PEM file that you need to go to CM and install in CM. It's not a big deal, take probably just 10 minutes, something like that, and then you're able to enable the feature.
Right.
I did a synchronization, it took 2 seconds.
Which one?
I did a synchronization, or the initial, or not the initial, but
The incremental.
incremental, it took about 2 seconds.
Yeah, because that one, there was nothing new.
Right.
I didn't know that, I mean, if it had to go.
Because that's the type.
That's where they say it
actually
probably
look
is.
manually at everything,
Instead of
because if
incremental.
you do something like that on Provision, it still takes forever. But this is
But I guess that's when they mean when you enable notifications. That's how they say you can actually have it done almost immediate,
Yeah.
right?
So
because it's no
that's-
longer a batch process that's
Exactly.
scheduled. It's sort of like I just made a change look at my incremental so that you see that there's a change and update it.
Exactly. So that slide that we saw here with the almost immediately.
Right,
Well,
that's what that is.
that's if you enable the feature,
Yeah.
you know, and
Which is
it's
kinda
almost
cool.
immediately. Yeah.
I
yeah,
think that we don't have that, because when you make a change, sometimes in CM, I don't know that I've seen it in system manager.
And now if you,
That could be because it's so.
Alex, now
No.
now that you've seen this, maybe the answer that you received yesterday,
Mhm.
which was not the answer that you were expecting, but it was the answer to something else.
Yeah.
Maybe that answer, if you read it again, it'll make more sense. Because the answer, remember that answer that you received yesterday where it was
Yeah.
talking about CM synchronized with system manager, and well, now if you read that answer one more time, it'll probably make more sense.
Yeah, but that really wouldn't be a ticket because it's broken. That just would mean that it wasn't configured that way,
Yeah,
and it just needs to be.
yeah. We'll read the answer again to see what he
Yeah.
meant by doing that. But yeah, he answered a thing that was actually
It's something else.
an answer to another thing,
Right.
not the problem with the logs not being generated.
Right.